The first time I realized something was seriously wrong in my neighborhood, it wasn't a confrontation. It was a sound. Metal scraping, slow, careful. Right outside my bedroom window. I froze in bed, heart thumping, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Wind, an animal. Anything harmless? Then I heard a voice calm, confident, like whoever it was believed they belonged there. That was my introduction to Marjorie. She wasn't a neighbor in the normal sense. She was the chairwoman of our community board. The kind of person who carried a clipboard the way some people carry a weapon. At first, she played friendly compliments, welcome smiles, casual comments about rules. Then the visit started. Unannounced, uninvited, always early. Always watching, she measured hedges, counted trash bags, took photos of my driveway. 1 week after I moved in, I received my first notice. Not a warning. Fine. Apparently, my exterior light angle violated community harmony. I laughed. That was my first mistake. Every week after that, something new appeared in my mailbox. Notes, citations, threats, disguised as reminders. I told myself it would blow over. It didn't. It escalated. One afternoon, I came home early and spotted movement behind my house. I stepped into the yard, and there she was, standing between my trees, kneeling, measuring soil. When I asked what she was doing, she didn't even look embarrassed. She told me inspections didn't require consent. That phrase stuck with me. Not require consent. My stomach dropped. That wasn't confidence. That was entitlement. From then on, she stopped pretending. She crossed boundaries like they didn't exist. My fence became a suggestion. My property became a shortcut. Cameras caught her cutting through my yard, stepping on equipment, moving things. I called the police once. They shrugged. Private dispute. Handle it civilly. Civilly. That word tasted bitter. I put up notices. Bright ones. Clear ones. They vanished overnight. Torn down, tossed aside. That wasn't oversight. That was intent. And intent changes everything. So, I stopped reacting emotionally and started thinking strategically. I spent nights reading statutes, municipal codes, property exceptions, pages and pages of boring language that most people never touch. That's where I found it. Not a trick, not a loophole, a provision. Property owners with animals or security concerns were allowed to install low-current perimeter deterrents, provided signage and spacing rules were followed. That changed the game. I didn't rush. I documented everything. Installed approved markers. Logged distances. Bought equipment rated for safety compliance. Nothing hidden. Nothing illegal. The setup wasn't about harm. It was about boundaries. Clear ones. When everything was ready, I waited. Not long. Close to midnight. My motion alert chimed. One figure. Familiar posture. Flashlight beams sweeping confidently across ground she didn't own. She approached the fence without hesitation. The warning signs reflected light straight back at her. She paused, then laughed. I could hear it through the feed. That laugh lasted less than a second. Contact. A flash. A sharp snap, like a breaking branch. She yelped, stumbled, and dropped backward into the grass. Not dramatic. Not cinematic. Just sudden. Real. Startling. Enough to make the point unmistakably clear. Minutes later, the street lit up with emergency lights. She told a story. A dramatic one. Accusations flew. Words like attack and intentional echoed in the air. I stood still, calm, silent, letting facts do the talking. An officer examined the perimeter. Read the signs. Checked the spacing. Asked one question that changed everything. Why were you inside the fence? Silence. The tone shifted immediately. The performance stopped. The authority she leaned on evaporated. She wasn't the one in charge anymore. She was just someone who crossed a line and paid for it. No one arrested me. No warnings. No citations. She left that night embarrassed, shaken, officially documented as a trespass. The next morning, something incredible happened. Nothing. No notes. No fines. No footsteps outside my window. Weeks passed. The yard stayed untouched. The cameras stayed quiet. The power dynamic corrected itself without another word exchanged. I didn't win by yelling. I didn't win by force. I won by knowing the rules better than the person who thought they owned them. Sometimes justice doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it hums quietly along a wire, reminding people where they do not belong.